start a 3, 2, 1, 4 count to start this atypical QM check. Just talking over an existing paper. This is the second QM for horseless rose paper, because the first one was taken by my father and given to a bunch of sheriffs that visited my house because they're like, this guy's amazing, or something like that. Anyways, so a quick recap of what's going on in this paper. First things first, this is not supposed to be a triangle. That's just supposed to be a regular set of quaternary carbon. It looked kind of like a V, which is a nightmare for a nightmare for the AIs. But anyways, point was, you got to start with racemic ketamine. When those left and right RNS form next to each other, that electron seems to want to go back and forth between them, and there's not enough electrons in this universe, so it's like, okay, maybe I'll just use the same electron for both. And so when it goes off of this one, drops out of this universe, comes back on this one, and that's how you get a spooky action at range of racemic ketamine, which is, by definition, a 50-50 mix of R and S for rectum and sinistral for right and left-handed, respectively, which is what these diagrams are. So how do you separate them out? We have to do what's called is a chiral elution, aka dark wizardry. This is how you do optical isolations, people. You have to have some sort of chiral eluent, and whatever nests better against whichever one of these, which has to be done experimentally, I reckon, if I understand this correctly, it will have a lower retention time by forming some sort of chemical with the chiral center on one of these, but not the other. And when it has a greater retention time, these two will be then separated, and you can pull off a fraction from that elution and have separated R's and S's that are quantum entangled to each other, which is exactly what this describes. This describes quantum mechanics dictates that these two molecules speak to each other at range without external instruments, allowing two-way communications between two or more people, such as myself and Scott Clary, who's probably doing the lecture right now. Anyways, he probably had a similar thought. I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure when these things rotate light in equal and opposite directions to each other, that means something's going on between the two of them, because how the fuck does one of these things rotate the light? Anyways, that was what happened in that lecture in 2012. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, how does this work? And then later in 2025, I was like, who the fuck is on the other enantiomer? Because I was hearing voices from a couple of people who I'm pretty sure are in the audience. But whatever the case is, even if they're not, they might be remote, but they're definitely listening in right now, and they are probably pretty excited to know that, well, when I heard their voices and they cooperated, I knew there was another person on the R enantiomer. Because for whatever reasons, I pick up voices on the S-ketamine, but I can also hear a little bit back on the R-ketamine, allowing two-way communication. So there's the rub. So